obviously go a little bit before and do what is called cultural immersion. And if you can start reading and doing some, you have to educate yourself because it might be quite shocking, right? For example, I went there and if I needed to teach suturing, some people don't have those instruments. So I needed to figure it out how I can teach suturing instead with a curved needle to use a needle that is not curved, that is straight. How am I going to teach that? And so these are some things that, yes, definitely requires cultural sensitivity. The ethics part is very, very important too, because one thing is to do, we need to get away from what is tourism, medical tourism, which is not what it is, because that has a very bad reputation. To do medical service while you are traveling and indulging, this is not what I feel is ethical, right? There is an ethical boundaries. So that's why it's very important to immerse yourself in the culture, try to understand, because as I mentioned, we come with a Western mentality. We have gone, in my case, I went to school, I went to university, to study midwifery. So I was bringing that aspect, which I needed to probably lower it down. You know, I was really young when I did that, and I needed to learn about because people can take it offensive too.
Yeah. There's a balance of educating versus you feel your arrogance and you know all and I know nothing perception of and even stuff locally. I feel that way with the Amish around me because it's a very isolated conservative community, and they have their local granny midwife the way it really used to be, the old lady in the community that's been around a lot of births, and you get called for home visits and I'm like, these are my neighbors, but there's such a disconnect of the cultures, but you also like want to be civil. So it's always a challenge. It doesn't matter if you travel around the world or right across the street, you get these extreme cultural differences and barriers and access. Like it's another world inside a world when they keep isolated. But
when I was in Bolivia, what I did is that I went to an area and I stayed with a local midwife there, and I stayed with her to learn about what she was doing. So I followed her. I was basically her apprentice during that probably 2 or 3 weeks, and then I was living with her and understanding what she was doing and what was the expectation of the people that they serve from me if I was going to be doing some training, right, to other midwives. Yes, so this is something that also is important to find those community leaders that can help with the immersion.
Yeah, clear expectations, communication breakdown can happen in anything. If you think I'm going there and doing this, this, and this, and then it's not that. Yeah, you want to have clear expectations of what you're supposed to bring, what you're supposed to do, how long it's supposed to be, things we take for granted that we think are basic living standards may be a luxury in other places. So we can't make any assumptions when you're considering a place. And I think, like you said, Sandra, the best thing is just going on site, maybe just going for a couple of days, not committing to anything long-term, shadowing just like we do in any other job, and considering joining a practice and partnering. You do little stages of decision making. Meta, if she wasn't in a loud place, I mean, she's been in Idaho and I'm in a slaughter if it was South Carolina, North Carolina, doing home birth center a while, and now in Mexico. And it took her quite a while to get the midwives in the community to not look at her as an outsider and slowly let her attend some births and part of their community. So depending, international midwifery, maybe you're just moving to another country and you want to do midwifery somewhere new. And so there's different levels to it, but I mean, especially Meta and I talked about it yesterday. Like, as soon as you say you're American or US, you already have a stigma, whether it's true or not, in the rest of the world that you have to get past. And some of it's going to be a little easier. I think actions speak louder than words. Like, if you say you're American, they have a bias, but they start seeing what you're doing and what you're about, it will help. But knowing you've already got stereotypes against you. So.